Hello, hello, and welcome to Friends and Authors Live. I'm Rosa Linda Roman here with my co-host, A.K. Vias, also known as Aash. And we have one of our favorite things we do on the show is we talk with tech wizard Danny King. And Danny's here today, but first let me greet you, Aash. How are you?
Great. Happy to do the show.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's bring Danny here. He's waiting in the green room, so to speak. Hi, Danny. Welcome.
How are you?
And this is actually actually my first saying hello to you today because you just moved from Germany to Knoxville, right?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. I'm not even close. Well, I'm in the same state. But I didn't have your new number, and so I sent the chat to the German number, the link. So my bad. Hello and welcome to Friends and Authors. I'm really glad to see you. How was the move? We last time we talked to you, you were in Germany.
Yeah. Overall, the move has gone really well. We are in our new house. Like, we signed a lease, got moved in. We don't have all our boxes unpacked or everything. The worst thing is because Tennessee is what it is. We had a storm a couple days ago, and a tree branch dropped on the windshield of our car. So,
oh no,
we're having to have
that's like welcome back to the U.S.
Yeah. The summertime storms sometimes get pretty ridiculous around here. So,
yeah. Well, I have lived through it. Oh, there you go. You got your little homage to Germany. So because we still have Aash in Germany. So awesome. So what is new in the tech world since we talked to you? I'm sure you've got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
And also, Aash, do you want to start with something in particular, or do you want to just let him roll?
No. Dan and I talked earlier. I think he has some really cool stuff to go over. So I'll just turn it over to him.
Let's go. Yeah. All right.
So one of the things that I tried out, I've never used this software to present or anything. Can I show you my screen?
Yeah, let me get
but if I think I can hit present.
Yeah, try present and see if it allows you to do it. If not, I'll maybe have to give you permission. There you go.
Share my whole screen, so don't worry about it.
Tell me when you're ready, and tell me when you get to the page you want to show, and then I'll add it to the stage.
Here we go. Okay, so one of the things that I have tested out recently is 11 Labs. This feature just released last month, but one of the fun things that you can do, and I think they have subscriptions starting at $6 a month. The one that's $22 a month, you get the first month for $11. So, and this is my reader magnet. And you load your script, and it will automatically detect, let me see, go by chapters, but it will automatically detect characters. And so it will actually let you choose different voices, and they have a bunch of them that when you go in here, you can create remixes from different ones if you like different features. These are not, I forget where the exhaustive list is, but this isn't even the exhaustive list either. But it probably cost me $3 to basically turn my reader magnet into an audiobook.
Okay. I wonder if it will allow you to play a clip so we can hear it. I don't know if it'll play the audio, but let's try.
Yeah, let me go to the get queue up part of the chapter. It already has it generated, but let me see if it'll start in the middle like this. But it's a really...
Now, are you hearing it on your end?
I am hearing it on my end. Are you not?
No.
No.
Sorry. Okay.
Do you have any... yeah, I was going to say we could potentially input the audio of an audio file and import it into our show. But I think...
I do have it as an audio file right here, actually.
Awesome. See if that allows you to upload that as a separate...
I think...
I'm going to remove it from stage and see if you can...
I'm sorry.
Well, see if you can either send it to me and then I can play it, or if you go to if you try to share it, see if you can play it from your device and see if that will play, because it might just not be playing because it's in a browser or in the app. If you have, is it an app or is it in the browser?
Let me see.
When you use it. Are you using it in an app or are you using it in a browser?
This is an app.
Oh, I hear it. Do you hear it, Aash?
Yeah, I hear it.
Events or locales is entirely coinced a little with trying to impress Nix. You don't try to show off when people's lives are on the line. Rhino held out an incredibly small USB drive. He pushed it into Echo's chest until he took it.
New plan. Emma bust some heads. One of y'all can put this into the computer in the back office.
Yeah, you have to go back and correct some things, but it basically turns you into a kind of a studio director rather than, I guess you get to control a lot of the things that you're doing with it. But it allows you to, I have to go back in for just a second. One of the questions that Aash and I had kind of discussed was, what do you do with it? Because ACX will not actually accept anything from AI except from what they actually produce. Like if you had,
and ACX is Amazon's audiobook platform, right?
Yeah, that's the Audible platform. So then you can actually export it to Spotify in audio. And there are a couple of others. I have a web page that I have here that is also very recent, that it's basically if you do it through some of the aggregators, so that it will go into Audible, not directly under your control, but if you release it through Spotify, like they will distribute it, and it also goes to Audible or Kobo Writing Life or the Author Republic.
To Audible, isn't that? Didn't you just say AC? It doesn't do ACX. It doesn't do that.
That's if, as an author, if you submit it, it would be denied. But if you submit it where it says here, publish, if you publish this to Spotify right here, then Spotify is an aggregator, and one of the things that they do is they just kind of push all of their products to different platforms. And so those other platforms,
at Audible anyway.
Yeah, it lands on Audible. So
interesting. It's kind of a loophole to like, we don't want your book unless, but then they're taking them anyway. So that's kind of cool.
Yes. So it's kind of making it a little bit more like they can tell an individual author, no, we don't want your stuff. But it's harder to, for Amazon to say no to a very large platform like Spotify. So
right. Interesting. All right. So let's take a step back first, because we kind of jumped right in. So audio books and talking about, obviously, so going backwards, we've had a lot of discussions about creating content using AI. And this is one way that you can take your book and market it or use it or make a different thing, or like in your case, you're using it for a lead magnet, but you can basically take it and make an audiobook out of it. And that becomes another offering, another thing you can offer. So that's what you're talking about. And last week we were talking with Aash about creating videos of your book to kind of for the marketing. So there's a lot of new tools available. I remember when we were at 20 Books to 50K, Steve Higgs was just talking about 11 Labs for this audiobook thing. And I listened to it back then, and even just listening to the clip that you just shared, it has improved tremendously. There's no question. The voices, the videos, everything is sounding a lot more human, which is the goal, right? They're trying to sound more human. But I personally still think that there's a difference between what you just shared and what the human voice is. That's my 2 cents, my opinion.
Yeah.
No, I think that's true. I think there's a couple of things to consider here. To the first point about how it's possible to get on Audible via Spotify, one of these things, you have to look at the relationship between Amazon and 11 Labs. 11 Labs has grown so huge that they're prohibitively expensive now for Amazon to buy. In the past, Amazon just would have bought them. And Amazon and 11 Labs are actively cooperating on some projects now. So Amazon, on the one hand, their virtual voice audiobooks are horrible, but they don't care because they're free. But on the other hand, they kind of realize, at some point, something's got to give. So this is a way to do that. And the other thing about
before you move on from that, it seems like it's kind of like I don't want to accuse them of manipulating, but kind of like it's a way to squash 11 Labs from doing, like, taking it to the next level with the individual authors. If you're saying they're collaborating in one way, but they're also like, well, but you can't have these AI books for individual authors, that seems like a restriction for 11 Labs, or am I misreading that?
Well, I wouldn't. That's one possibility, Rosa Linda. I actually think the dam is starting to break. I think first it was nothing. Now there's this kind of back channel through large platforms. Eventually, I think Amazon's going to have to give, because 11 Labs is becoming so dynamic, and the audiobook market is becoming so compelling. And a lot of studies have shown that the majority of readers or listeners actually don't mind an AI voice if it's done well. And there's 2 other things that are very important. One is the function of the cost. Like, I have my ebooks on Amazon, and I think 8 different languages now. At $5,000 a pop, that's $40,000 per audiobook for voice actors, and they flake.
Well, they're not 5,000. I mean, I pay a human for mine, and it's in the 2,500 range. But yes, to your point, it's a significantly more expensive to pay a human. Actually,
for what Danny just showed you, 5,000 is a drop in the bucket.
Oh, because you're talking about different
levels of audiobooks, so you would have to hire 8 different voice actors, coordinate all of their schedules, pay all of them, and make sure none of them flake on you over the next 6 years. Or you could pay $90 and have it done in 3 days with 11 Labs, which eventually will come to an agreement with Amazon. And it's like a movie. I mean, there's 8 different voice actors for each part. So it's fascinating technology.
Yeah, and I think it actually, like, it automatically placed all of the voice stuff where it should go. It did a fantastic job at doing that. And I haven't done this, but you can act like, I think different parts of the intonation is actually incredible as well. But if it gets the intonation wrong or the pronunciation wrong, the one that I showed you was a very quick one that I did. Like I did all of the whole thing in less than 20 minutes. But one of the things that you can do is you can literally record your own voice saying it, and then have like it will use the same pronunciation and intonation with the automated voice that it has based on what you recorded instead.
And it gets past that challenge that even, high quality voice actors, if you have a man doing it, if there's a female character speaking, he has to, change his voice, or vice versa, right? I mean, if you have, I don't know what the limit is on characters, Danny, but if you have 10, 20 different voices, I think that's a lot more than most people need for a book. I mean, it's almost like an audio movie, right? So I think it's incredibly dynamic.
Yeah, it allows, like I said, in order to pick a voice, it has a very, very broad list to choose from. And you can even search by a type, like some of the descriptions. If you want a deep voice, if you want someone who is very giddy, if you want someone who is energetic, like you can change some of the voices. And it's almost like casting. You're just doing that with the 11 labs instead. Oh, am I still presenting?
Yeah, I can take that. I didn't know if you wanted to keep presenting.
Oh. I mean, I was looking at that while I was saying that, but yeah, and I think that Aash kind of had a point when we were talking the other day about it, is that movies have been using like CGI for years, and nobody complains. But it's all computer generated. So what's the difference if individuals start doing the computer generated part of it?
Yeah, I mean, it's really like a staggering question of like, I guess intellectual consistency, right? Like if you think of movies over the decades, Star Wars, Jurassic Park, Shrek, Toy Story, Frozen, the new Wicked movie, those are all CGI, right? There aren't real Jedi lightsabers, dinosaurs are extinct, it's all computer generated imagery. The difference now is the technology is such that an individual with a subscription to something like Higgsfield can write prompts without coding and come up with movies. Now, maybe they're not obviously the quality of something with hundreds of millions of dollars that Hollywood has, but it's in a way just like indie publishing knocked down the gatekeepers to publish books. If I was Hollywood, I'd be a bit nervous because, you have people who are wary of AI and that sort of thing. But my question is, okay, fine, but then I understand if you didn't watch Star Wars, you didn't watch Jurassic Park because you didn't want anything that was CGI. But did you also say Steven Spielberg didn't write that script and accuse him of all these things? No. So just be consistent. The technology is to the point where an individual can do this.
To be clear, when you say you have people who are, questioning it, you're talking about me. I'm one of the people. And so I hear you, Aash, and that aggressive stance and the sense that somehow those of us that are more cautious and taking a slower pace with this stuff are like hypocrites. I take issue with that.
Well, it wasn't actually meant to you, Rosa Linda,
but you know how I feel, and every time I question and I say, well, here, let's slow down a minute, you kind of jump on me and tell me that what I'm saying is like it doesn't make sense. But to me, it does make sense. And I think when you say overwhelmingly you said a minute ago that people who like the majority of people like or can't tell the difference between an AI voice and a human voice, right? Or readers say they don't care. Not that they can't tell the difference, but they don't care. I question that. I say to myself, okay, but who are those people that are taking these polls? I say to myself, I know how I feel, and I have to speak up for the person, because I think that there's a lot of people who use AI say, and I've heard it many, 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 many times, say that there's a witch hunt against people who are using AI. I haven't seen that. I actually have seen much more of this, where those of us that aren't, wait, let me finish. Those of us that don't feel comfortable with the technology feel like we're not supposed to speak up. There's something wrong with us if we don't say that we aren't comfortable with it. And so I wasn't really, I didn't expect to say this on here. And I feel like when we make blanket statements about people who, oh, did they watch Star Trek or Star Wars and question that? I think that's I think we're jumping very far beyond what the concern is for those of us that are cautious about AI. Okay, I get it. I love that it works for you. I love that it works for Danny. I have so many people who are using the technology in beautiful ways. I do not begrudge them that ever. I never do. I celebrate your wins, and I really appreciate that we use technology to help people. And I also think that sometimes people are so excited about the new thing that they're working on that they don't always consider not everyone is as fast as you guys, and not everyone is as comfortable with some of this stuff. And so, like, yeah, I don't like putting other people down because they move differently through the world than I do. And so I'm just saying, like, this hits me very obviously. I wouldn't have been like saying this if it didn't hit me very hard. And so I know there are people like me who feel this way. And I also do not begrudge you for, exploring possibilities and expanding your indie author career. I want that for you. I want us all to be successful, but I want us to be successful in the ways that feel authentic and in integrity with whoever we are. We're all different. So for me, I choose not to do that. I hire an amazing voice actress, and I pay her a lot of money because she's worth it to me. But that doesn't mean that I'm saying that you have to do that, right?
Yeah, Rosalind, this isn't directed at you. You're not the one blasting someone like Steve Atchison for putting video ads and saying he wrote his books with AI. You're not the one who just took a $2 million deal away from an African-American author just based on the suspicion of AI, right? What I'm talking about is this stuff is happening. And this CGI argument was initially by Steve Atchison, who was one who's pioneering these video Facebook ads. And people see the ad and they say, oh, so you must have written your book with AI. And his point was like, wait a minute. Did you see Jurassic Park? Did you accuse Steven Spielberg of whoever the scriptwriter was for that hit movie of using AI? Let's be intellectually consistent here. So this isn't directed at you. I see your stand.
Okay. I know that, Ash. And the fact that I can talk to you this way is because I love you and I love Danny. And I would never even have this conversation with many other people, because honestly, we all believe what we believe and we kind of stay in our lane and we defend our, what we see. I know it's not directed at me. And I also know that people who are choosing deliberately choosing not to use AI in their workflow, whether it's for their writing or for supporting their writing or for their marketing, for supporting their marketing, or for creating art or for, supporting their art. There are a lot of people who are feeling like all of a sudden this fast train just like came barreling by and everyone said, you have to jump on or you're dead. And I'm here. I just wanted to throw this in there because I think that sometimes it feels like you have no choice. And we do have a choice. And it is important that if you're not comfortable with it, awesome, that's okay. It doesn't have to be, but like to your point, you don't have to, like there don't have to be witch hunts, because like the fact of the matter is we are all doing the best that we can.
No, I agree with that. And I would clarify, I'm not saying that definitively that people are preferring AI. I'm saying that if you look at studies are here and there. There have been recent studies that show listeners of audiobooks, if it's a decent AI rendition, seem to prefer it, right? That's just one study. It's not definitive in any way. And I don't necessarily see the witch hunt going the direction you're mentioning, because what I'm trying to do is show tools that I'm using and successful authors I know are using to push forward their author business in the face of all this AI onslaught. Like, do you know how many books have been loaded up to Amazon that are just AI garbage? So, I'm not advocating anybody do anything that they're not comfortable with. I'm just showing you what myself and other authors who are making money as indie authors are doing these days. That's it.
I think there's always in almost any area of life, like I think it's actually kind of funny because my wife and I are almost on opposite sides of all this, that like I am the avant-garde in tech. Like I love looking at all the new stuff that tech can do, and my wife hates change. Like, whenever my wife has to get a new phone, even if it's the same, like Android, there are always differences, and like that just annoys her a lot. And so I think that part of what is out there is like, that is one of the issues, is it is a fast moving train, and I don't think it will slow down. That's part of the problem, and that people that don't like change and people that aren't at the very front, you can certainly choose to wait, not participate, however you want to take that. The tools will evolve, that if you choose to use them, at some point you'll have to learn it. You don't have to learn it today. But I definitely don't think there's a problem of knowing what is out there and how it could be used, not necessarily how to use it, but how it could be used is a bigger topic. And I think that like even the point of what like we're trying to do here is we're trying to help people understand how to better do things to make themselves successful as an author. And whether that's using I haven't used Higgsfield yet, actually, like Aash has. But I do think that it is a thing that different people have change tolerances, different people have like new tool learning tolerances.
And it's not, I want to say that I don't think it's only that. I actually don't think it's only that. I know that, yes, that is part of it, but I actually have always been at the forefront of technology. I have always been the first person, and I have in studio one of my friends, Barb, who she's like the AI guru, and she's live streaming guru. She and I have been working together since 2016, working on live streaming. And we always were at the forefront of that. And Barb still is very much. But there's also this piece that I think because things are moving so fast, there's this piece that is more the ethical side of it that people are still wrestling with. And there are many, like talking about using the technology and the benefits of it and all of the good things that potentially can be done for some of us. And maybe this goes back to the slower part, I don't know, but for some of us, it's like, well, I'm still working on how I feel about it overall. It's not necessarily that I'm afraid of the technology. You know, do I think it's going to be Terminator? I sure hope not. But it's more just, okay, it's not that I'm not willing to try new things. It's that I want to know if this is the new thing that I want to try. And I'm not there yet. And when I get there, for example, you talked about that you need to, you know, at some point you're going to have to jump on the bandwagon, on the train. But when we were in Ireland, there's a business, author, what is it called? Author Scale. And they do where they take your book, they kind of the app ingests your book, and then it puts out social media posts, like quick slides for Instagram and video content for YouTube shorts, that kind of thing. And it does, like, you can have hundreds in a matter of minutes. And that's amazing, right? Well, I had gone to their session when I was in Vegas at Author Nation. And I was like, well, I'm not ready to put my book into this AI platform yet. And I expressed that to the guys in Ireland, that it was Marvin and Christian, the guys that started this platform. Anyway, all of this to say, they just released an AI-free version of their app of Author Scale. So now I can take my book and I can put it in there and I can use the tools without AI. I've tried it. It's still, there's some things, like for me, if you asked me right now, which nobody really has yet, but if that app said to me, well, Rosa Linda, what do you need? What I would want is I would want to have some AI and the choice for AI and the ability to use some of the things, like I want to use my own photos and videos. I have so many that would I don't need AI generated images, right? Because that's just who I am. So I could see a future where we have more choice. The train analogy is very appropriate because it's like, it's the only one train and it's fast, but there's going to be all these other trains that I think we can kind of find our way without necessarily having to jump all the way in and hang on to this train as it barrels past. So that's my 2 cents. I don't think it's fair to think of those of us that do want to slow down as being slow, because I'm not slow. I'm quick and I'm sharp. And I'm also taking my time with this one.
Yeah. I'm not trying to imply that anybody.
Yeah. No, I don't think anyone's implying or has even said anyone's slow or anything like that. Here's the thing. Like, in trying to come up with cutting edge stuff for this show, you know, I'm spending a lot of time with cutting edge professional authors. By professional authors, I mean people who support their families through the sales of their fiction, right? Like people like the Steves, you know, and other folks we know. Now, there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? Because, you know, for example, Craig Martell, who's a spectacularly successful author, you know, a 6-figure author, he doesn't use any of these tools. But he's also much further along in his journey than most people. So for, you know, this show, we hope to appeal to everybody, obviously some very successful authors, and people who are earlier in their career and may not necessarily have the resources as well. So I just want to be crystal clear. I'm spending time with, you know, folks who are the tip of the spear on this stuff, in my opinion, and reporting back. I'm not saying that's the only way to do it or advocating this is the way to do it. I'm just reporting on what folks who this is their career, this is what they do, are showing me.
Yeah, there's many, and I don't think we need to skin any cats, because cat lovers would be really upset by that. I would be very upset by that. But I agree to your point that there are lots of different ways to have an indie author career. And I am hopeful that it's not just people that are further down the line, like Craig, that can choose to opt out if that is what they want, and still find a way to be successful. And I'm sure there are some. So, but we won't know, because we're so, like, everything is new. This is all so new. And every time we go to an author conference, we have these conversations in person, and then we all go back to our homes and our individual, journeys, and we dabble with this and we try that and we experiment. And so it's been interesting to see how it's evolved just since March, St. Patrick's Day. We were in Ireland having these conversations. I remember we had a very similar conversation with Ben Richardson. He is a guy who was using video. He uses video, AI videos to help support authors, and he comes from a filmmaking background. And so, yeah, it's an interesting, and it's going to continue to evolve. I know I'm going to Author Nation in November, and I'm sure we're going to have so many more conversations, because between now and then it's going to change and improve, and there'll be new tools that are coming out. So yeah, it's going to be an ongoing conversation. I saw a comment from Barb. She said, don't leave the editing to technology. That is very much the responsibility of the humans using the technology. And I think that's such a good point. I guess maybe that's why I'm hesitant. It just hit me from Barb's comment. I'm not afraid of the machines. I'm afraid of the people that are using the machines. It's really, and I'm not worried about you guys. I'm not worried about 90% of the people that I meet. It's maybe that there's still this other 10% that I don't trust that makes me put the pause brakes on for a little bit.
I would actually say that there are several different analogies. I think that there's not anything you can do about the people that you don't trust. And I think that you're always good, like everything, a shovel is a great tool to dig a hole. You can also hit someone with it really hard.
Yeah.
And so it's always how you're using a tool, how you are intending to use it. And I think there's even a really good analogy analogy is probably the wrong word, but an example of there probably is somewhere a market for, you have the chair I'm sitting in is all wood. But I am certain that this chair was completely manufactured in a warehouse. And so they make these chairs and they get to sell them for, $60 a piece or whatever it is. And you can have the exact same chair that somebody, shows a live stream of them hand making it with tools, and someone will pay, $600 instead of $60 for that one chair. But that is part of the difference of how many of those people can you find, how much longer did it take you to make the chair, and how many of those chairs can you sell in a year when you're doing it that way. And I do think that there really is a platform for, what is it, two years ago, I think. Now he also has a huge audience, but Brandon Sanderson did a, what's the platform where you load your stuff on to get people to support you for?
Oh, like a Kickstarter?
Yeah, Kickstarter. That's it. Brandon Sanderson did a Kickstarter for a like leather bound, hand worked copies, and made over, I think it was over $3 million in pre-orders for that thing. And so, like, he has a huge audience, and that makes it a valuable proposition for him. But if I did that with my book, a hand bound leather, whatever, how many people would order that?
Yeah. And I mean, I think the technology has the potential to be the great equalizer, and I agree with you. I don't spend my life. So I kind of, like, as a woman moving through the world, I grew up and I learned that you definitely do things to keep yourself safe, and you prepare, and, all of that. But you also can't just, like, lock yourself in a closet and hide because there are bad people in the world. Like, then we do no good in the world ourselves. And I think that the humans, like, now the humans have to step up with our humanity and with the parts of ourselves that are the opposite of the computer AI thing that we're so stressing about and talking about. And I just think that the more that these tools can support that part of our humanity that makes us unique, and if that can help it get in the right hands so that they can, read your book or watch your offering, that I support that. And I think that's fantastic. And, it's just, I move at a different pace than people who are ready, like they're already adopting it. So that's all. I mean, I think that's, for me, kind of my bottom line.
Well, my 2 cents on that, and I agree with what you're saying, Rosa Linda. I want to address this in 2 ways. 1, philosophical, and 2, pragmatic. Philosophically, there's obviously not any one way to be an indie author, which is what we talk about here. I mean, I have the deepest amount of respect for anyone who publishes one book, puts their heart and soul out for the world to see, even if it doesn't sell a copy. And I recently spent 2 weeks with an 8-figure author, right? I have equal amounts of respect for anyone who has the courage to do either of those things. And it's not about the level of financial success. People should do what they're comfortable with. However, on the pragmatic side, as someone who is in the process of trying to make a living from this, it's like, if you self-publish a book, it's like walking into the Library of Congress, the New York Library, and putting your book randomly in one shelf and hoping it's discovered and people buy it. And the thing about that is I can only speak from my personal experience, and this has been echoed by authors that I've talked to, that this year I've had my most successful year as an indie author. I've spent more on Facebook ads than ever, and my ranking in the overall Amazon ranking, in terms of like the entire universe of Amazon books, has gone not up but down 3,000 spots down. So what that's telling me is, in the past I was steadily going up. What that's telling me is, the fact is, Amazon is being flooded with ebooks, with AI slop ebooks, right? So making a career of this, the technology works for you and against you. It's getting harder. Right. So you have to innovate. You have to adapt. You have to figure out how to keep an edge, because the things that were working 2 years ago with Facebook ads aren't working anymore.
But yes,
that's the nature of this business.
That is. And when you said that, it made me think of this loophole with 11 Labs, and like they're saying, no, we're not going to have the AI audiobooks, but if you go this way, you can get in. So it's kind of tricky because, like you said, it works for you and against you. And maybe the unique proposition or the unique offer eventually will become, how human are you? Maybe. We'll see.
Well, no, it definitely is. Like for example, these videos I've drawn with Higgsfield to help market my books, which are all based on scenes from my books, which I wrote. I put the disclaimer on there. If you go look at my website, it shows the video, and it says underneath, all of my books are human written. However, until Hollywood comes knocking, I've used AI illustration tools to make these videos. And if you go on my website and click on the video, the first thing that pops up is this big honking AI badge in the middle of the video.
Let's see.
Right? So
here. On this one?
Yeah.
I want to play these because this is
just go to any one of them. Go to any one of my books.
If you don't mind, I'd like to play.
Can you see the video, and can you see the disclaimer underneath it? Under one of the videos?
When I put my glasses on, I can. My books are entirely human written. AI filmmaking tools were used to make these videos until Hollywood comes knocking. See, Ash, that's like, I have no problem with that. You are that, to me, that is staying in integrity and reminding the people that, because the people that read your books, they want to read. Like, they don't, like, this brings them to it. It makes it so that they know where your book is in the Library of Congress, right? That book that you put on the random shelf. Now, this allows them to find it, right? So I support that, and I think it's great. I'm not an artist, so I probably would have a different opinion if I things by hand.
You absolutely are an artist. No. You absolutely are an artist. I've read your books.
I don't draw.
Now click on one.
Okay, let's watch. I would like
but you can speak, and that's all you need to do these days. But just watch one. Just watch the first 5 seconds and see what you notice that pops up immediately in the middle of the ad as soon as you click on one of these videos.
Okay, which one? The eagle feather, or which one do you want? This one or the saber tooth?
They all have the same thing. It's not the video so much as what pops up in the middle of the screen as soon as you click on it.
My people were a small forest tribe, surrounded by hostile clans, and saber-tooth stalked.
You see the AI badge?
As a boy, I earned my grandfather's white eagle feather. My wolves, bear and goose, they've guarded the people with me ever since. My brother.
Hang on a second. So, do you see? Tell me what you're talking about.
Well, if you go on the website, because all these are embedded to my YouTube page.
Yeah.
The YouTube page has an AI badge underneath of the videos. If you go to my website and you click on it, what it does, even inside the video for the first 4 or 5 seconds, no, that one doesn't. That one doesn't.
Okay, picture that one then.
But all the other ones do. If you click on the other one, if you click on it,
here. Let's see what it says. Oh yeah, it says it right here. I see what you're talking about.
I won't take no for an answer.
You see, it shows it right here.
Come back,
and it's there for. Yeah, so I declare that with every video.
Yeah. Did you put that in there? Like you, as the creator, did you put it in there, or did it do it automatically?
Well, it can do it automatically if you forget, and the difference is if it's clearly animated, it doesn't necessarily put it on there because you could have used the CGI tools, which is another topic. But if there's kind of human, like the second video has, like this video, the Comanche Summer video, has like human figures in it, right? So somebody could misinterpret that as actual humans. If it's anything like that, they ask you to declare it. So when you upload the video, you just click on the AI tab, and it shows up for the first 5 seconds of the video.
I got you. So I'm putting a crawl on the bottom of the screen.
At the end of the day,
shows the link.
What I'm hoping is people will see these.
I just wanted to say, let people, because people are going to want to go look at it themselves, go to akvs.com and you can look at all these videos yourself. Ash has been working on a ton of really fascinating videos. So they can check it out themselves. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I've actually added a new page that's going to have just a videos only page for each series, and this podcast that I'm on, it'll have all the episodes of the podcast on there with my co-host. So that will be my video audio page. Okay. But yeah, that's
I see.
That's how I'm using these tools.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of this stuff. This, by the way, people who haven't come to this show before, we should mention that this website, this gorgeous website, was all Danny helping you overhaul your author brand. And if you go to Danny's website, Danny, is it Dan B. King Author? Is that the one?
.com. Yeah, danbkingauthor.com.
danbkingauthor.com. He helps authors maximize their reach and like does GEO instead of SEO, which is like, what does that stand for?
Generative engine optimization.
Yeah. So essentially creating a website that is much more discoverable by the AI that is now categorizing and figuring out what is your website. Basically, you're helping people authors make their websites more discoverable, which is amazing.
Well, for the website building stuff, that website is called theauthorforge.com.
Let me see if I have that. I don't know if I wrote that in. Oh yeah, here you go. That's this one. theauthorforge.com/start. That's where you can find Danny and he can help you overhaul your website. So you should definitely do that. Well, I think we're going to have to keep this conversation going because we're coming up on an hour and we have so much more to talk about. Obviously, we feel passionately about our author careers, all of us, and we're not always going to agree, but I appreciate having this platform and having these friendships. That's why we call it Friends and Authors. Friends first, then authors. So that we can have these conversations that are not easy and not everyone is going to agree, but here we are. Anything else you guys want to add or talk about before we go?
No, I just want to specify that, I'm doing this because I'm talking to my friends and fellow authors. And in no way did I mean to insinuate anything about you, Rosa Linda. I'm just seeing what other authors using these tools are getting out there. And it's frustrating me because people have been using CGI previews for movies for decades now. And no one says boo. Right. So that's my 2 cents.
On a totally unrelated side note, I just realized I have the Grand Ole Opry mug, which is in Tennessee, like our guest Danny. Yeah. And so I think that's a good omen. And that is very much an in-person experience. So there are still places where it's not about AI. So just so you know, you can still see a good show. Yeah, Danny, thanks so much for being here. Obviously, you sparked some really good conversations that I think these are important conversations to have.
Yeah. And like I said, everybody is different. Everybody has their own ideas. I definitely think that it is very important that people stick to their own ethic of how to do things. And I mean, you can obviously consider change your mind at times or not. But I think that it's definitely important for people to, make sure that they stick to what they believe.
Yeah. And I'm going to let Barb have the last word on this before we wrap up the show. She says, AI is here to stay. It's up to humans to learn how to use them safely and productively. Well said. Couldn't put it better myself. So we really appreciate all you being here for this show, Friends and Authors Live. We do this show every Thursday morning, Mountain Time. We have it on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Substack. So please tell your friends, 9 a.m. on Thursdays. If you enjoyed this show, come back next week. And what's that? 5 p.m. in Europe. All right. Thanks for being here, everyone. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye. Thanks.
And I have to find the button.
Bye.
Bye.